Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be doing my top 5 favorite video game sequels. Now, sequels are pretty much well known as being when it comes to like films and stuff, not as good as the original, and I think the same can be said for games. But I think there are some exceptions to this when it comes to making a sequel to games, and a lot of video game sequels can be either good or bad. I think really depends on who you ask, and I'm on the opinion like I think for me, video games or sequels to games can be good depending on how much fun I'm having personally. And there are some games that I'll be talking about that when it comes to sequels, that I find quite fun. And yeah, that's what we're talking about today. So yeah. So for number 5 is Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now, this is a continuation slightly of the original Galaxy game. And what I like about this game is that it's basically more Galaxy 1. And yeah, and it does have a lot of the same Mario Galaxy standards. So like all things that it carries over, like you doing multiple missions, using various power ups, and the whole Comet stars, like Daredevil runs, purple coin stuff, that sort of thing. And yeah, and what I like about this is that there's new galaxies you get to explore, and towards the end of the game, I think in World 8, there's a galaxy that's basically one of the levels from Mario 64, and it's called Throwback Galaxy, and I think that's a really cool way of bringing back an old level. And then once you're beating the game in World S, you can experience some Easter eggs or throwbacks to previous Mario games, and mainly some of them being from Mario Galaxy 1. So one of the references to a Mario game is in the Rainbow Road Ball section, where it's basically a reference to Mario Kart, the Mario Kart series with Rainbow Road. And then there's other ones like a level from Mario Sunshine with one of the secret levels. And then there's some references to Mario Galaxy like Square Mario and the Cyclone Galaxy level or part from Beach Ball Galaxy. And yeah, but when you compare it to Mario Galaxy 1, I prefer Galaxy 1 because it was the first game to do the whole space stuff. But I do still enjoy Mario Galaxy 2 for what it has. And yeah, I think it's a whole lot of fun. For number 4 is Tears of the Kingdom. Now, with this, I do enjoy how it continues or expands upon what Breath of the Wild had. And yeah, I think with the addition of the Sky Islands and the Depths, I think that Tears of the Kingdom does do a good job of helping to expand more of the lore of the whole Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom universe. And yeah, I think what makes this game a bit better, or has some benefits that Breath of the Wild lacks, is the dungeons, the bosses, and pretty much a lot of other stuff. I don't think, yeah, it's a really good thing that is the Kingdom was able to take what was wrong with Breath of the Wild and manage to make it better, because Breath of the Wild, I enjoy it. I enjoy a lot of the things that the game has to offer. I think that with Tears of the Kingdom, I enjoy a lot of the elements a bit more. Like with the bosses, for example, when you compare them to Breath of the Wild's ones, the ones in Tears of the Kingdom are a lot better, because the ones in Breath of the Wild will just copy paste and just with a different first word, because it was just blank blight, Ganon, like thunder blight, water blight, fire blight, and wind blight. But with the bosses in Tears of the Kingdom, you have the Queen Gibdo, you have had Colgera, you have Goma, and you've got Ganondorf at the end. And yeah, and also like the dungeons as well. I think the dungeons are a nice breath of fresh air. They feel like actual dungeons in the game, and yeah, and I think with the new Sky Islands and Depths as well, I think they add some new bits of exploration to the game as well. And overall, it's just a very fun game, and I do like exploring through all the different locations in the game. So yeah, for number three is Insomniac Spider-Man 2 and Miles Morales. Now I'm putting these games together as one because they are technically sequels to the original to the original Insomniac Spider-Man game, and I know that Spider-Man 2 is a actual sequel, but I feel like Miles Morales, the Miles Morales game, is also a sequel to that game because it follows on the events from the first game, and it does make reference to the first game as well. And what I like about these games is that they do make a good continuation from the original game, and I do like how we get to see more of these characters like grow over the course of the from the first game. So like with Miles Morales, with that one we see Miles sort of like becoming his own Spider-Man and not following. Well, he is following from the example that Peter's Spider-Man did, but Miles is kind of becoming his own sort of Spider-Man. And then with the second game, with Spider-Man 2, I do like how with that one, Peter and Miles are more banterish towards each other and sort of help each other out throughout part of the game, whether that's with Martin Lee or with the Venom symbiote part. And yeah, I think both games do help with building this universe and this world and seeing all these different characters interact with each other. And yeah, I think they're really fun, and I do enjoy playing through these games and getting to get to know more about these characters. So yeah, for number two is God of War Ragnarok. Now, I think as someone who started playing this series with God of War 2018, I think God of War Ragnarok is a good continuation of not only the 2018 game, but the series as a whole, because with the original trilogy, it was more of rage-filled, wanting to go and just annihilate the entire Greek pantheon. With the 2018 game, it's more of wanting to try and forget about the past and try and go in a more different direction because of how Kratos wanted to keep his godhood away from Atreus. Then with God of War Ragnarok, it's just, okay, how can I do this and how can I change fate? That sort of stuff. And I think it does a good job of changing the fates and how fate is used in that sort of element because of how Kratos is seen, in big air quotes, to be dead in Atreus' arms because of it was shown on that mule. And I think it does do a good job of helping to expand the characters a whole lot more and show us what kind of characters Odin and Thor are, because we only get to hear them from Ymir throughout the events of the first 2018 game. And I do like how they are both characterized in the game. Like with Thor, he's just a lapdog to Odin who doesn't really think that much. And then with Odin, he's this master manipulator. Like, he's able to, for spoilers before I get into this bit, he was able to foil everyone by being Tyr for a good portion of the game. And I do like how he's like trying to manipulate Atreus a bit when Atreus arrives in Asgard. And overall, I do like how this game sort of like moves Kratos even more to try and be more hopeful, and then he becomes the God of Hope at the end of the Valhalla DLC. So yeah, I think it's a nice continuation of this whole God of War saga, and I can't wait to see what kind of pantheon we'll be seeing next. So yeah, and for number one is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now this could be technically cheating a bit, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth remake and the third game in the trilogy of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is remaking one game, but I feel like because Remake and Rebirth, even though they're remaking that original game, they're still adding some elements to it, and yeah, I feel like that they're kind of their own thing a bit, so I'm kind of adding it to this list. So yeah. So what I like about Rebirth is that you get to experience new areas in the game, and you did do that in Remake, but because it was mainly in the Midgar section, there were some things that did feel a lot of the same. But with Rebirth, you got to experience new locations and stuff, and yeah, it felt like something new and felt fresh, and I did feel like there were a lot of cooler stuff and more interesting things to do in the game, like the whole Queen's Blood mini game that you can get to do every now and again with some of the characters. And yeah, I feel like there were some new bits I did like the new weapons and stuff. I did enjoy that, and I do like how the whole overworld was more open to you, because with Remake it was mainly just corridor-based parts, depending on which part of the game you were in, and there were some open areas you could go to, but when it comes to Rebirth, it feels a whole lot better to explore every new location and just go from one place to the next, and you get to do a whole lot more side quests to do, because in Remake, I know I'm going back to Remake a lot, but with Remake there's only like 15 or so side quests to do, but with Rebirth there's a whole lot more to do in the different areas that you go to, and there's new enemies to encounter as well as new summons to collect, and I think that's really cool. And I do like how with the summons in this game, you have to, if you want to try and get it, you have to try and lower its power by a bit, and that's cool. And I do like how you can try and find the locations to try and do that. And yeah, I feel like the character interactions feel a lot more better, and I do like how we get to see more characterizations from all these different characters, like Barrett and Red 13, for example, because they were shown in the original game, but I feel like Rebirth fleshes them out more and makes them more interactive, kind of, because you get to experience more of how these characters became to be and stuff like that. And overall, I would say that Rebirth is a good continuation from Remake, and I do like how just more open this world is, and how more expansive it is when it comes to both the overworld and the narrative and stuff like that. So yeah, that's been my top 5 favorite video game sequels. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.